So I was part of this group that was this product evaluation group, and we were looking at all the titles, all the proposals, and kind of giving design feedback to publishers and developers until the game launched. In every game, we would work through this. And I had a colleague at PlayStation, Bruno Matsdorf. He's Guatemalan, and he was looking to put together a team that could come down and speak about what PlayStation can do, what we can offer. And he came to my group and my manager and said,
Welcome to Chips Podcast. That sounds a little bit odd, right? So, I'll tell you why. Bem-vindos ao Chips Podcast. Hoje eu tenho comigo o Mike Foster. E por que eu comecei em inglês? Porque hoje toda essa entrevista vai ser em inglês. E vocês vão ter tudo legendado. A ideia é conversar com o homem, a lenda, que vem para o Brasil desde 2007 para falar de PlayStation, mas para falar sobre a vida dele, para falar como as coisas foram até aqui e como ele está se tornando esse grande escritor na América do Norte. Então, daqui para frente, vocês sabem, eu vou em inglês. Vou fazer a introdução de novo, agora em inglês para vocês. Welcome to Chips Podcast. Today I have Mike Foster with me, the guy, the legend that goes beyond Brazil and is the one coming since 2007 to talk about PlayStation, but not PlayStation today. Today it's all about Mike Foster and his life and how did he become an amazing writer in US. Not only US, but probably worldwide. Mike, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for coming from US to here just to talk to me here at Chips Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is my first podcast. And
oh, really?
My first podcast ever. One of my few interviews I've ever given, actually. And my apologies, meu português não muito bem. I try, and but I am happy that I can be here with you, and I'm excited about this.
I'm super excited. That's funny. I'll start right there. You've been coming here since 2007, as far as I know.
Yes.
And you said that your Portuguese not muito bem.
No. I estou aprendendo, but yeah, it's slow, and I know I should be better by now. Absolutely understand that, and that's my fault. But I do the best I can.
No need to worry. No need to worry at all. I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're even trying to speak Portuguese. But as I said, you will do this in your language. We'll do this in English. That is very important. We can even start talking about this. How do you see the Brazilian market so far? Like people talking, not Brazilian market, Brazilians in general, like talking in English with you and trying to do that. And since you've been seeing this since 2007.
Yeah. I absolutely appreciate the effort and willingness to try to communicate in my language. It's important to me to try to speak as much whenever I travel. And I'm in another country. It's important to me to try to communicate in your language as much as possible. I want to be respectful, and I know I'm not doing a great job there, but it's I try, but I'm surprised, and it was a little bit of a funny story. When I first came here in 2007.
Yeah.
And gave a talk at a university, and then spoke with a lot of the people afterwards. Everybody was speaking to me in English with a variety of different
accents.
Brazilian accents, because they're from all over the country.
Yeah.
And each accent was just a little bit different, and the English wasn't great, but I had to kind of relearn it, understand what they were saying, I guess.
I see.
But I was ignorant, and I came away from that first visit here thinking that English was commonly spoken in Brazil because everybody I spoke to there at the university spoke English.
Sure.
So then at a future date when I came back to Brazil and I was kind of on my own and I was not at the university and I went out to, I'm going to go get a smoothie.
Yeah.
And I go there and discover immediately that no, they don't speak English.
It's not common.
And I was able to, I could understand enough to order like an orange smoothie. But I remember the girl asking me, congelo?
No idea.
No idea. Desculpa. Não entendo. And then, and I felt bad. And then she came back and showed me a cup filled with ice.
Oh, so it was very
Jello.
obvious then.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So you learned Jello.
I did in that moment. But it was also a realization, like I was so stupid to think that, of course, it's a different country. Not everybody's going to speak English. And it was an educational moment for me. And then I felt bad for thinking that everybody should speak English. I didn't think that everybody should speak English. I certainly didn't have that attitude, but just I was under the...
And one of the things that you learned was it's much easier to remember when you had this kind of situation that you don't know anything, and then you learn ice for forever.
Yes, absolutely.
I got it. Now I know what it is, and I know how this is called. So I'm happy to hear that. But I've noticed that you've been practicing Portuguese. Is that only because you are a really big fan of Brazil and you want to learn more, or have you had anything different from that?
Well, it's a little bit of both. Yes, I'm a big fan of Brazil. I've been here almost every year since that first trip, coming down with work. And I feel it's important to, like I said, learn the language. And I haven't put in the commitment on Duolingo like I should, but so there's that because I have been working with a lot of Brazilian game developers, so I want to be able to communicate as much as possible in Portuguese.
And then you fell in love with the Brazilian community. Is that it?
I did kind of fall in love with the Brazilian community. One particular person in the Brazilian community, and on a trip down here in 2008, happened to meet this girl who was working for a video game company based in São Paulo.
Yeah.
And we kind of unexpectedly, absolutely surprisingly, hit it off. We spoke after I went back to the US through Skype at the time. It was, Skype days back then.
Skype days.
And
she became your pen pal?
Came to a conclusion to decide to see if there was more there. And there was. Nice. And we just celebrated our 15-year wedding anniversary.
Nice. Congratulations.
And she's one of the smartest people I know. And she's just amazing. So, yes, I met, she's from Recife.
Yeah.
And when I went to meet her parents and her family for the first time, I asked for her hand in marriage from her father.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I practiced like a whole kind of speech and I don't remember the words right now that I used, but because her family does not speak English. She has sisters that do, but her parents not really. So I practiced very repetitively how to ask for her hand in marriage in Portuguese, which I did.
That's so cute.
And they said yes.
So that worked, and you were able to. So how did you? I would say, how did you made her fell in love with you? Was anything in particular that you did? You sang her something or anything like that?
No, it's just my amazing personality.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought.
No, during that, I mean, I'm also a musician, and during that trip, where I met her, it was at an event in Belo Horizonte.
Yeah.
And the gathering, we had a mixer at the local Hard Rock Cafe, and you and another good friend, formerly from South Logic, based in Porto Alegre, ended up talking to the hosts or the organizers of the event, and came around to tell me, after I'd had 3 or 4 caipirinhas at this point,
and I still had one in your hand,
that I was going to be getting on stage and performing, which I just wasn't prepared for, but
you said yes.
So that happened, and
so we proposed, and you said yes.
So yes, got up on stage with the guitar, did a few songs, started with Green Day, Good Riddance, and the crowd went wild, and she happened to be in the audience, and so she took a risk on me. I was not in her plans at all. She never imagined leaving Brazil, moving to the US. That just wasn't in her future. So as much as she was a surprise for me, I was definitely a surprise for her. And we are very happy.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy. And I do believe that for her is like something very, very, really big to do, right? When you're leaving everybody, going to another country, understanding and figuring out how to do things in a completely different environment, right? Mm-hmm. I see this as a big risk to be taken. I don't know if you are the kind of person that is a big risk taker.
I am. I don't think in that capacity what she did was amazing, and she's been able to create a career for herself in the U.S. Myself, I guess I'm a risk taker in kind of a different way. I used to be a little bit of a daredevil.
Really? Tell me some stories that proves that.
You know, I grew up in California, born and raised in California, but my family also had a log cabin in the forest that I would spend my summers at. So swimming, hiking, exploring the woods. There were bears out there. I didn't care.
Really? Wow. Fighting bears.
I was always told, if a bear comes, just stand still. And
did it
don't
ever
run.
happen?
I never saw one when I was by myself.
This means that yes.
But they're around. And I grew to love climbing while I was there. Rocks, mountains, the pine trees, pineros, right?
Yeah, pineros.
And I would just climb all the time up in the branches. Where's Mike? He's up in a tree. I just love heights. So if I see something that I can climb, I will. Back then, I was climbing buildings, doing parkour before parkour was a thing. Right? If they're climbing up the outside of walls and
pre-inventing parkour,
all kinds of stuff. So
what would you call it if you were the inventor of parkour?
Not parkour. I think that's a French word, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where
it's like go through the park.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
No, sorry. Just something that happened to my brain, and you can move forward with.
Maybe foolish?
Foolish? That's a good one. Let's do some foolishing.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah. I see what people are doing now, and I just think they're insane.
Yeah.
But
from building to building and stuff.
I think people would have looked at what I was doing back then and probably called me insane. The craziest thing, I mean, to put it very bluntly, I died. Literally,
Yeah.
I died. There was a tower. It happened to be an electrical tower. I didn't care. It was a tower and I could climb it. And so I climbed it with my best friend, who was also a little bit of a daredevil with me, maybe not quite as much as I was. And it was nighttime and we're kind of climbing up this tower together, and he's on one side and I'm on the other, and we start looking at each other and we get that look in our eyes.
See who's faster.
And we start climbing faster and faster. And I didn't even realize it, but suddenly he stopped climbing and I kept going. And I get another, 4 or 5 meters above him. And I said, "Why'd you stop?" And he said, "We're at the top." I had no idea.
Oh.
And because I was looking at him the whole time.
Sure.
I look up and there are electrical wires, the power cables, just a few feet from my head. And I had two back-to-back thoughts at that moment that happened almost immediately, one after the other. The first thought was, I need to get down. The second thought was, why am I not hanging on anymore? Because suddenly there's 5 feet between me and the tower. The electricity from the wire arced out through the air and hit me in the arm. And you know the scene in Jurassic Park where the kid climbs the electrical fence and then they turn the power back on and he kind of flies away?
Yeah.
Kind of gets blown off the fence?
Yeah.
Happened to me. I didn't feel it happen. I didn't see it happen. I was just 1 second I was hanging on. And 1 second later, I was not.
A split second, right?
And it felt like those Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote cartoons where Wile E. Coyote runs off the edge of the cliff and he kind of hovers there for a moment before realizing that he's not standing on the cliff, and then he falls. It felt like I was kind of hovering, hanging there in midair for a moment, realizing
something happened.
I'm not hanging on. And then I fell, and it was 16 stories.
16 stories. Okay.
16 stories tall. And except it probably took in real time. I can't remember how fast what the speed of falling is. There is
and it should be like something 30.
It's 30 something feet a second.
Yeah.
Is what I understand.
It's much faster
something
than I thought.
Like that. Maybe faster, more closely to 50 feet a second.
Wow.
I don't know. I think my fall actually took about 3 seconds, maybe 4, before I hit the ground. To me, time slowed down to a crawl, and it felt like I floated down.
Yeah.
It was a bizarre experience that I can still remember, like vividly, having all these thoughts running through my head. It wasn't quite like life flashing before your eyes, but it was moments that I would remember. And in the time between when I realized I wasn't hanging on till the time I hit the ground, I accepted that I was going to die, and I accepted that was okay.
Interesting.
I like reached a level of peace with it. And then the next thing I knew, I woke up on the ground with my friend, who had been on the tower with me. And now he was just on top of me, hugging me and just crying and repeating, "Don't die, don't die." And I said, "Get off me, it hurts." And then I was out again. Then I blacked out again. And I kind of was in and out of consciousness for a while. But I learned from the doctors that the electricity stopped my heart. So with the initial shock killed me. And then hitting the ground
kind of jump started you?
Everything again. So I was dead there for those few seconds.
You hit the
fall, like technically
the grass
dead.
or something like that.
It was dirt,
Like
a field.
Yeah.
It was kind of soft. I came very close to a rock.
Wow.
A couple of large rocks, because I went back, of course, afterwards to look and kind of, I don't know, move past it, because it was traumatic. It was painful. I broke several bones.
Yeah.
And
I wonder your head. How did it fell? The position that you were.
Everything. It's one of those miracle things.
Yeah.
I got very lucky. I went through some recovery. They told me I wasn't going to walk again. I left the hospital, a few weeks, almost 3 weeks after the incident, in a wheelchair, and then I moved to a walker, and then to a cane, and eventually, a few months later, I was water skiing. So,
well, we went skiing, and I would never say that you ever had any sort of accident or anything like that.
So I feel very fortunate, but it also, I'm actually glad it happened. When you look in hindsight, would you change anything in your life? This kind of thing. I try to not have regrets about the things I've done in my life, because I feel, I believe in the whole butterfly effect, and that, life, the decisions you make in life kind of split reality, called the multiverse kind of thing.
Yeah.
The quantum physics stuff. And I feel I'm very happy where I am in life right now. And I feel if the things that I did in life led me to where I am, and if I hadn't climbed that tower, and if I hadn't fallen, I'd be a different person now.
Definitely.
And I like where I am and the kind of person I am right now. So I don't regret it.
Theoretically, you're saying that there's several situations where you actually died there.
Yes, I absolutely believe that.
Well, coming back to this heart-stopping story, I'd like to talk about your childhood, and if you played video games and you had fun, and where did you start it? What was your first video game and when that was?
Sure. I started very young. So my grandparents, I went to visit my grandparents, and my grandfather had just gotten an Atari 2600, and playing, I can't even remember the names of the games right now, but
probably River Raid, Enduro.
No, it was before. It was like earlier than Pitfall.
Earlier than Pitfall.
So it was a few years earlier than that. The very
Asteroids?
first games, like Battle.
Remember Asteroids?
Asteroids came later.
Later?
Yep.
Wow.
But that was where I discovered video games. And they had Pinball was one on Atari.
Yeah, I love that.
And I was that was where my addiction started. And in Pinball, I was so good, I could Pong. Yeah. I could play pinball for hours in a single game, because you would earn extra balls by racking up a score.
Yeah.
And I had the little nudge on that Atari 2600. I remember on both sides of the screen were these two like channels that you could get the ball to go through. Yeah. And you could really rack up a high score there.
Interesting.
I don't know if people say rack up a high score anymore, but that used to be the terminology. Yeah. You would rack up a high score.
Yeah, well, we had the same thing in Portuguese, like when we used to use some words to describe when you finish a game, and now you have, like, because of Xbox, you have platinum the game. Yeah, well, because of PlayStation, right? You get that platinum stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's changed. Yep.
That was all about racking up your high score. And I could literally just keep that ball going through the channel by, you could nudge the table, for forever. So I could just play a single game forever. And I did that a lot. And then I come home and beg my parents, and they were very kind. And we got an Atari 2600 at home.
Wow.
And that was
The bulky one?
my addiction started there. And it went. River Raid, Pitfall was amazing. I can still hear the music in my head. Adventure
Gave
me my love of kind of an action RPG, I guess.
Did you play Django Run?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my game. That's the one that I play the most.
For me, I loved adventure. I remember when Asteroid came out on Atari 2600, and by that time I had started going to the arcade and was playing all those Asteroid, Centipede, Pac-Man. I bought a guidebook for Pac-Man.
Oh, really?
That actually gave like patterns to get through levels and stuff and survive longer.
I didn't know that it exists.
Yeah, there was. And there was even a spot in Pac-Man where you could stop. If the ghosts weren't looking at you, you could stop your character in that spot and they would never touch you.
Wow.
And I remember having to do that. Like I had to call my mom and say, because I was late.
I did magic.
I was late. No, I was late coming home.
Oh, I see.
And because I was playing Pac-Man. And I just paused the character in this one spot in the arcade, and there were only a couple people there, and so I was able to and I knew the owner because I was there all the time. I said, "Can I use your phone real quick because I have to call my parents and tell them I'm going to be late." While I'm just leaving my Pac-Man, character sitting there.
Yeah.
And I remember Asteroid coming out on 2600, and I got it for Christmas, and I knew I was going to get it. And I would sneak out in the morning and unwrap it. And I hope my parents aren't listening.
And Valeria has already sent it to them.
and I would sneak out and unwrap the box, and I would play Asteroid in the morning
and then
before my parents got up and wrap it back up. So it'd be there for Christmas.
That's so good.
And it wasn't, totally faithful. All the asteroids were filled in. They weren't, just the outline of the asteroids, but it was great. I loved it just as much. And that went on to NES. Eventually, I had a Vectrex unit. I never had ColecoVision. And I was jealous of people who did because the ColecoVision game looked so good. But I went on to Vectrex, and then eventually Nintendo. And the first time
I've never heard of it. Coleco or Vectrex. I didn't know it exists.
Yeah, Vectrex was basically this black rectangular monitor.
Yeah,
vertical. That you plug cartridges into the side, had a built-in joystick that you pulled out, and you had joystick with buttons. And then it had these plastic clear sheets that you would put over the screen.
Interesting.
To give color to the game. Right. Wow. And so then everything on the screen was mapped out, used vector graphics, and all the gameplay would match up with the color screen you put over it. I don't think it had any known arcade IPs. It was all unique games just for that hardware. And in fact, I still have my Vectrex.
Interesting. That
I got 40 something years ago. And it still works.
Nice.
And then I remember being at a friend's house, and they had an NES, and I saw Super Mario Brothers for the first time.
And then,
because at that point I wasn't going to the arcade anymore. I was right in kind of this age where I was working more. I was like 18, 19.
I see. And when you got your first Atari, how old were you?
Oh,
7, 8?
probably.
I see.
Yeah. So I hadn't been paying attention to video games for a couple of years. I'd been more hanging out with friends and school and other things. I would go play like Smash TV at the arcade.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen Super Mario Brothers. And I remember him showing me the NES, and I played Super Mario Brothers, and I thought, this game is amazing. You go through and there's world after world and it changes and evolves. And I was just like fascinated. And that brought me right back into the world of video games again.
Nice.
And then it was that Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, and on.
And did you went to college? You said that you were studying and stuff?
Yeah. For college, I was studying music, actually.
Oh, really? That makes sense.
I grew up doing piano lessons,
nice.
Playing classical music on piano, and I've always been a singer. So I was going to college for music. Video games, programming. I took some classes in high school learning BASIC.
Yeah.
And I did some minor programming of very simplistic BASIC games. But that was the last programming I did. Since then, I've just been more about, I guess, helping with design and working on design. So after college time, I started managing a video game store in a mall, similar to GameStop, but before GameStop.
Yeah.
There was Babbage's, there was Electronic Boutique, and then there was G&G Software, which was an even smaller company. And I was managing one of those stores and selling video games. And at that point, I kind of decided this is something I want to make a career out of, working with video games somewhere.
Yeah.
And not just selling them. I wanted to be in the video game industry. And in 1994, was hearing about the PlayStation coming out, was really excited to see what the PlayStation was going to be. But it was really in 1995 that I decided I want to be in the industry, and I was very excited for what PlayStation could be doing, and I wanted to work for PlayStation. But I didn't know if I could. I'd never been in the industry. I didn't know what to expect. I went to the very first E3 in 1995.
Wow.
And it came with a little booklet that had the names and addresses of all the companies that were at E3.
That's crazy. Interesting.
And so I went through there and I sent a resume to all the video game companies that were close to me.
Yeah.
In California, in the Silicon Valley. Crystal Dynamics was there, Koei. I can't remember if Konami was there yet, Capcom, Sega. And I sent my resume to PlayStation, and the only company
who answered
that called me in for an interview was PlayStation
in 95.
In 1995.
So you're telling me that you've been working with PlayStation for 30 years?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Wow.
It will be 30 years in July. Is my 30th anniversary, and it's been a journey. I started as a game tester. I did that for a couple of years. And then I worked in a group we had called the Product Evaluation Group that we would look at all the titles that companies were submitting for wanting to bring onto the platform and kind of give guidance and feedback on how good we thought the games might be if they were, strong for the platform.
Yeah.
And I was doing that for several years until I moved into this other department that was kind of tasked with helping to build a console development community in Latin America. And that led to me, coming here to Brazil, Uruguay, Colombia, Argentina,
but
Chile.
But you jumped from 95 to 2007.
Yeah.
I would love to hear exactly how did this walk happened, and especially how did LATAM happened in your life? Like, how was that trip for South Brazil for the first time to get together? You, Bruno, Sarah, Chris was with you guys. Yeah. So
Mark
was with you guys. Yeah, Mark was it. So how did it happen?
So I was part of this group that was this product evaluation group, and we were looking at all the titles, all the proposals, and kind of giving design feedback to publishers and developers until the game launched. In every game, we would work through this. And I had a colleague at PlayStation, Bruno
Matsdorf.
He's Guatemalan,
yeah,
and he was always interested in seeing how he could support Latin America.
Sure.
And he was looking to put a team together. He's more of a tech guy, works with middleware and things like that. He doesn't know game design.
I see.
And he was looking to put together a team that could come down and speak about what PlayStation can do, what we can offer. And he came to my group and my manager and said, "Do you have somebody?" And my manager said, "Mikey."
Mikey. There's that guy.
I think he would love to go. I think he'd be perfect guy to go down. And I had no idea what to expect. I'd never been to Latin America before.
Who was your manager back in the day?
His name was Mark.
Oh.
Mark Vitello. Sadly, he's not with us anymore. Miss him. He was great person. But I didn't know what to expect. My experience with Latin communities was Mexico and going to
nothing to do with Brazil.
Cabo San Lucas for a vacation.
Yeah.
So I had no idea. But I was very excited to come down, and that first trip was amazing. We went to Argentina, to Buenos Aires, and then to Porto Alegre. And
you went to Eva back in the day?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that they had Eva so long ago.
Yep. I don't know if it was called Eva then. There might have been a different name for it.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. If it wasn't called Eva, it was something else. And Eva started in 2008, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember for sure, but it was an amazing experience. I fell in love. So indie development wasn't a big thing yet. Like, I don't even know if Unity was really available.
Unity didn't exist.
Right.
Because I started just why I was so into it. Right after we met, I started working with Acuris.
Right.
And my first task was to change the game engine from what they were using, which was Virtuals, to something else.
Right.
Because Virtuals was all about nailing boxes and then doing that. And to do a volleyball game, it was too complex to do that.
Yeah.
And while I was researching, I found the Unity 1.06.
Yeah.
So this is how new it was, and it was like a couple of months before we met. It was something around like October or November.
So we weren't really seeing indie development as a thing. There were very really small indie games that you could find on PC. I remember playing some things that just kind of blew me away, and I unfortunately don't remember the names now. But we came down here, and it was my first experience really talking directly with this young, super creative, super passionate development community. And I just fell in love with it. I had been working a lot with bigger publishers in the US. And there it felt more like a business.
Yeah.
Right. And it is. Video games is a business.
Yeah, definitely.
On the big scale.
Here it looks like a garage band.
But it felt more like this community of people just creating stuff. And I loved it. I fell in love with it. And I knew immediately. I came back from that trip and I spoke with Bruno, who put together this team. I said, I want to be involved in this. Find me a position. Let's do something. Let's create something where we can like really go all over and help and do whatever we can, because I want to be involved. I see there's a lot of talent down here, and it just got me. It like reinvigorated my career and excitement for being in the video game industry.
Nice. What Sarah and Mark used to do at PlayStation back in the day, Sarah Stock and Mark?
Yeah, they were both of them. Mark was part of our technical group.
I see.
And super smart tech guy.
Yeah.
Really good. And Sarah was with our first party studios.
I see.
Working on producing games over there.
Nice.
SingStar was one of them.
Wow.
She loves to sing, as you know.
Yeah.
And
we all do in a way. We every year we used to do that karaoke thing here in San Francisco.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's very, very, very cool. And once this started, I remember like a couple years later, like telling Bruno, like, I'm working with a game engine that it's gonna be like super awesome. Like I'm talking 2009 in Rio de Janeiro, where we have that amazing picture with black socks in the beach.
Yes.
In the sand. But telling him, well, when we were gonna work with Unity in PlayStation, and he said, probably it's not gonna happen because they are like super small and it's not happening, right?
Yep.
And I'm happy that things came around and nowadays it's better. How have things been since now that you said that you have 30 years? I'm pretty sure that you have those first 10 years of doing your first evolving inside PlayStation. Then you had this experience here in Latin America, and you brought to light amazing games like Torrent, Horizon Chase, Starlit Adventures. That it's something. Can you tell this story about Starlit Adventures? How did that happen? How do you remember happening?
A little bit. I have to be careful what may be confidential and maybe not. I'm happy to say I know it was a discussion about the viability of free-to-play games on PlayStation, and if there was a market there for that. And it took some convincing, but I said that absolutely there is a market, and free-to-play, is growing. And at the time, we only had a few free-to-play games on the platform.
Just 2, actually.
But there's definitely interest, and they were doing quite well. And I thought it would be a great idea to bring Starlit Adventure to the platform. And after a lot of convincing and a lot of conversations, it eventually happened.
Yeah.
And I know now the team is thanking me. Thank you for convincing us to bring this.
Yes, that's absolutely true. I'm so happy. Whoever heard this, I've already told this story on this podcast several times, how did it happen from different perspectives, from the Shami's perspective, from WebCore, from my perspective. And that's what I was looking for, like remembering when we were at a big festival that now is called Gamescom, and it's a huge event. And you said, I think this game should be on PlayStation. And then I remember Chris saying, we don't have the manpower. And then,
well, I'm glad you made it happen.
yeah.
And I think it was successful for you and for the team.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So
It got like 5 million players plus, right? And
it's amazing.
It's amazing. We got better numbers than we had in mobile. So it was really, really good. And now you became something else. I've heard that you've became a writer. How did that happen?
So that is unexpected.
Really?
I guess I've always been a creative person and a creator with music. I write my own songs. They're terrible, but I love them.
But you do.
There's a song that Weezer does on their Blue album called "In My Garage."
Yeah.
And there's a line in the song, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but he talks about writing all his stupid songs with all his stupid words, but I love everyone. And I thought I can relate so much to that because I do the same thing. And I guess I've always had a way with words. And my wife, when she came to the U.S., she always commented that she really liked the way I wrote things or spoke, or my ideas. And she's a very creative person too. And this cabin in the woods I mentioned earlier, I took her there. And she was both thrilled and terrified that a bear was going to show up.
Yeah. Especially because we in Brazil watch all the movies and everybody go to the cabin in the woods and then they end up dying or being cursed or anything like that. So she was absolutely sure that you're going to do something bad to her.
And she actually did have an encounter with a baby bear, which freaked her out. I watched it all happen from a distance and kind of laughed. She was terrified. There's a bear coming. It was a baby bear, which is still very big. But
how did it happen?
The bear just happened to come around our cabin. Sometimes they come around looking for food. She happened to be outside. I was inside the cabin, kind of watching out the window. So and I saw the bear coming, and I saw her. And my mother was there too, and they were sitting on the deck, and my wife had her back to where the bear was coming from.
Oh, I see.
But my mom saw it first.
Yeah,
and my mom looks at the bear and she's like, "Oh." She's not going to react. She's used to it.
Yeah.
And my wife turned to look at what my mom was commenting on, and the bear was just a couple meters away, like coming up to the deck.
Wow.
And
you were at the window, like
looking out the window,
a mug, like,
I'm looking out the window, watching this, just waiting to see what's going to happen. And my wife jumps up and she starts stamping her feet on the ground,
which is definitely something that you shouldn't do.
And then just runs into the cabin, runs past me and off into another room. And I go to find her and I'm laughing. And I go to find her and she's kind of laughing, sobbing. And I'm not sure what the emotion is. And she's face down on the bed and she keeps repeating, "I left your mom out there. I left your mom out there." Well, as soon as she started, stamping her feet, the bear was like, "Oh, I don't want to be here." And the bear left.
Yeah.
But she didn't know. All she knew was she left my mom outside with the bear. And what's going to happen? And to me, the whole thing was hilarious, and my mom was fine. She's outside laughing because she watched my wife's reaction to the whole thing. But anyway, to get back.
No, the story was so good.
Went on a little bit of side thing.
But you have a lot of side things with animals, right?
I do. But my wife thought I should write a story about the lake and the cabin and my experiences and things. And I thought, okay, sure, I'll do that. But it was kind of half commitment. I don't know. It was like, okay, I'll keep that idea in my head. And it was almost 10 years later that I was there. I was at the cabin and I was completely by myself. And I thought, I'm going to write that story. I'm going to write that story for her. And I'm going to surprise her. I'll write it here. I'll go home. I'll show her here. I wrote that story for you.
Yeah.
And that just developed into something bigger. And it became kind of this young adult fantasy story about a girl who gets lost in the woods, crosses over to a realm that looks just like ours, but there's magic still exists in the other realm. And she has to find her way back, and she meets the people in that world. And then that story ended up getting published and turned into a whole trilogy.
Wow.
And the third book is about to come out in a few weeks here.
Nice.
The final book of the trilogy. And after it's been like a 6-year journey now that has been for the whole trilogy, 7 years maybe. And it's just been this fun and new creative outlet for me that I didn't expect to ever do. And interestingly, I've now become an indie creator.
Yeah.
And it's given me a much greater appreciation for
the indie,
understanding indie game developers, the process of trying to find a publisher or self-publishing, of the costs of funding, and then marketing, trying to self-promote. I'm terrible at it. and it's super challenging. But
you're doing that you're doing this right now, right? And everybody that is watching right now is looking at the internet trying to find which book?
Well,
to this camera?
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't here to self-promote, so that wasn't my intent.
That was my intent. I gotta tell you, I just call him because I wanted that. I want the books to be very well successful, so I can get the 3 books with the autograph. So I get rich just because I have the 3 books with the autograph.
Well, thank you. The first book is called The Passage at Moose Beach. By Michael Foster. The second book is called Finding the Lost, and then this third book about to come out is called Magic in the Blood. And I'm very excited for it. I actually look back at book 1 and see the amateur level of it.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to go back and rewrite it now.
Will you do that?
At this point, I may.
You may.
I will. I've actually started the process, but
nice.
It's a process.
Yeah.
To just get it up, because I'm really proud of book 3, and I'm really proud of the way the whole trilogy has wrapped up.
So whoever is watching here, they know that they need to struggle through the first book.
And I wrote it hopefully where you can read book 3 without having read books 1 and 2.
Interesting.
I try to get enough backstory there. So we'll see. Anyway.
Well, you'll find all the links below here at this podcast. So you'll be able to buy the 3 books.
LakePointBooks.com.
LakePointBooks.com.
Yeah.
Nice.
Again, apologize. I didn't mean to come here to self-promote.
You know that I'm gonna cut this apologizing, right?
No, because
I'll just do that because that's what matters the most.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just happy to be here with you. I'm happy to have this conversation. I'm happy to know more about you. I know a few of the stories, but not so deeply. And I'm very, very, very glad that I met you. It's been a while now. It's almost 20 years.
I know. I feel the same.
And
Getting to know you from that very first trip, and you've definitely been a little bit of a guide for me here.
Yeah.
And I know I've been able to host you at home back in California, and we've done skiing and other things. And
we did go-karting.
We did do the go-karting.
Yeah, you took me to Pixar for the first time, and it was the most disappointing moment of your life, right?
What? Oh, because you didn't react. Like, there's the Pixar sign, and you're like, okay. Are you kidding me? I was so excited. Like, it's right there.
Pixar.
I thought you would be more excited, like a bigger reaction.
I had a bigger reaction going through the Golden Gate Bridge, right?
Yeah.
Instead of I don't know if I've ever told you this story. I was expecting you to took me that day to the Oakland Stadium.
Oh, really?
Oakland, yeah, I thought that you were gonna go through that and then take me to the subway.
Okay.
And then I was like so super waiting for that moment because I used to play already American football and all that, and we had watched American football back home.
Right.
I thought that because you said I have something very special to show you.
Yeah.
And then
because it was right there.
And then I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna see the stadium. And then he said, by the way, here is the Pixar gate. And I said, okay, I saw it. Now, what's the special thing?
You know what? I would have taken you to the Oakland Coliseum. Are you a Raiders fan?
I'm a big fan. I'm a Raiders fan since Rice used to play there.
Yeah,
and John Gruden was the first time. Yeah, the coach for the first time when he like started coaching. Yeah. So I saw that Raiders era in the 90s. That was the first team. I don't support Raiders, and I'm not, especially now that it's in Vegas. But I really enjoyed seeing that team. Yeah. And they had a very peculiar field, half grass, half mud, sometimes dirt, sometimes whatever it is. So that's why.
Because of the Oakland A's playing there. But yeah, despite being a California person and never having lived in Florida, I am a diehard Miami Dolphins fan.
Yes, I know
through the good times and bad times. And it's been nothing but bad times.
Forever.
There have been signs of, hey, maybe this year. Tua is amazing, but he's one more hit away from bad things.
Yeah.
But man, his release is so quick. Anyway, I'm not going to go on about American football.
Actually, we should do another episode about like other stuff and funny stories that we have. We have so many stories happening here in Brazil, right?
Yeah.
That places that we went, things that went wrong, and things like that. But we can do something again in a year or so whenever you came back. And to wrap this up, whoever is listening to this and watching it, is there any tip that you would give to someone here in Brazil that wants to come to the game industry from Mike Foster?
It's tough. I often get a question of what is PlayStation looking for?
Yeah.
Like if we make a specific type of game, is that what you're interested in? And I always push back on that because I want you to do what you're passionate about.
Couldn't agree
because
more.
That comes through. We see it. You're putting your love and your energy into something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing.
I couldn't agree more. Mike, thank you so much for being here. It's been amazing. It's an amazing ride. I hope you liked being here, and whenever you can, please come back.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. And thank you. I'm going crazy. Thank you for listening to this great conversation with Mike Foster. Would you like to say anything to whoever is watching? How do they get to you? I don't know because I'm not able to get to you. Do you use any social media, anything like that?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. I'm going to keep calling it Twitter. I don't care. Instagram, I rarely use. Facebook a little bit, but my handle is Lake Point Books. And feel free to reach out to me there or
just look for Mike Foster or at something very specific.
At Lake Point Books.
At Lake Point Books.
Yeah.
Nice. That's very good. And thank you for listening and watching Shapes Podcast. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Rede Geek.